Grant Cardone has gone from car salesman to international expert on entrepreneurism. Today's video, we're going to touch on 3 lessons I have learned from Grant, so let's go! Guys, thanks for stopping by today. This is another installment in our series talking about lessons I have learned from successful entrepreneurs and social media influencers. And Grant Cardone is today's virtual guest. Well, he's not a guest. I'm just going to talk about Grant today. Grant is somebody that has gone from 0 to 100 in the last decade. He's really a fascinating story of a person who started in car sales, training for car sales, and now has become an international icon to many. Grant's training now on business, money, investments, building wealth, and on his multifaceted real estate ventures have become a really big thing to a lot of people. I have appreciated a lot that I have learned consuming Grant's content in the last couple years, and the first point that I want to make, lesson that I have specifically learned, is he writes his goals down. Dixie, you gotta get out of here, come on. Grant preaches that he writes his goals down, writes. Not thinks about, not puts in a spreadsheet, whatever else. Hand writes his goals twice a day, when he gets up and before he goes to bed. I hope this is sincere. I think it is. We have talked in previous videos about seeing the bigger picture and looking down the line and macro issues and ideas. I think this ties into that. If we are not looking at our goals down the line consistently, and like Grant, I have always been kind of a photographic learner, whether it was notes in school or whatever else. Many times, in my mind at least, I picture what I have written down when you get to that or when you're thinking about it. I think writing those goals down, one way or another, is a great idea. Specifically handwriting those main 5 to 10 goals, 2, whatever works for you, is going to be an important step for you as you move forward in your journey. Point number 2, he is famous for his 10X book. Now, Grant has written many books. I think I've read all of them, but by far the most important book he's written for him and his success that's helped propel him is his 10X book and is the idea of 10X in general. Now, if you're listening to anything that he says or does, he's going to talk about 10Xing everything. That 10X started with 10Xing your goals, dreams, and ambitions. His point is everybody's goals are not big enough. You should decide a goal and then take it times 10. If your goal is to make 100,000, think about making 1 million. If it's 1 million, 10 million, and so forth. The math's pretty easy. It's one of the benefits of the 10X rule, but the point is well taken. Obviously, if you hit those goals, it's fantastic. But what if you only get halfway there? 5X is better than 1X, and I think that ties into the sexiness and the attractiveness of this entire principle. I want you to think about things in that way. Think about that goal. Think about that idea. And at least periodically, how can that be bigger? Whether it's 2X, 5X, 10X, you pick the multiple. But having a multiple, I think, is going to be beneficial for you one way or the other. Guys, I would ask you, we won't beg just yet, but like and subscribe the video for me so we can keep sharing content with you and helping you out in all of your business endeavors. Third point that I have learned specifically from Grant actually reinforced the point because it's something I have always said. We have 2 jobs, everybody. Your first job is whatever you do. Lawyer, barista, doesn't matter. Whatever your job is, your job is. Your second job, I guess that's a 2. Your second job is to sell. You have got to sell yourself. You've got to sell your product. You got to sell your service. And that's where somebody like Grant, who's a born salesman, born sales trainer, always think ABS. Always be selling. no matter what we're doing, we're getting our startup off the ground. You get excited about the idea and everything else that you're doing. If you don't sell whatever that startup's doing, you're not going to go anywhere. So we've got to make sure there's a sales component in anything we are specifically doing. Before I continue, what is going on with Dog Central here? Dex is like, I'm just sitting here.
Dex is chilling.
The benefit of live recording in your home studio is you get visitors from time to time. So I brought in my enforcer, otherwise known as Dixie,
Like, ain't that boy cold? Come here, boy.
to help make this last bonus point. And that point is there needs to be a focus on building wealth, not just making money. We're all concerned with making money, paying our bills, taking care of our families. Obviously, that's a big deal and very important. But we really need to look those 5 steps ahead, the 10X, all these different things that we are touching on with the idea of truly building wealth. Obviously, the definition of that will vary for everyone. But when we're building wealth, when we're gaining passive income, when we are getting multiple sources of revenue, these are all topics that we'll continue to talk about on the channel. It's extremely important. Grant has done a great job with his base business, obviously, but he's taken it next level with Cardone Capital. That has been a huge influence for him in wealth building as he goes out, pools investor money, and buys multifamily properties throughout the country with a lot in Florida, southern states, and so forth. So always be thinking about how are we taking next level action for our wealth building. Thanks for stopping by the channel today. Make sure you check out our other videos in this series, and we'll see you next time. Peace! Hey, you've got no video.